A lot of guys kissing each other in here, man. You feel me? What y'all do is y'all business. Going to a Diddy party, all the waitresses topless. Grabbed him by his neck and was like, do you have love in your heart, young man? You want to be a roach? Or you want to walk with God? I'm looking like...
You guys, this case is getting dark. One witness has allegedly vanished. Another says he was poisoned. And now, a former bodyguard is naming names, including Usher, in some of the wildest accusations we've seen yet.
No, I seen him holding hands with two men. Like this. I seen that.
Stay locked in, because in this video, we're breaking down the latest twist in Diddy's trial, how it's getting dangerously close to spiraling out of control, and why people are saying this could be bigger than Epstein. Yes, we said it.
No, I'm going to the car, bro. I'm good. I'm not signing no NDA. I'm going to the car. I'm good.
Diddy's ex-bodyguard, known publicly as Big Homie CC, just came forward in a new interview, and what he claims might explain why witnesses are either disappearing, backing out, or ending up in the hospital.
Who provided tapes to the feds, he's disappeared. And this is similar to what happened in the Tory Lanez case, where the bodyguard whose DNA was on the weapon, he disappeared.
He says he was allegedly poisoned 3 separate times. Not once, not twice, but 3. Now this isn't just some random guy looking for clout. Big Homie Double C used to be on the inside.
He's been doing this drug for over 20 years. So that's gonna lead his view skewed when it comes to slow activity.
He worked for Diddy. He traveled with him. He saw things most people only whisper about in dark corners of the internet. So when he says he believes witnesses are being silenced, people are starting to take it seriously. But here's where it gets even more insane. He's not just talking about intimidation or backroom threats. He's saying there's a whole pattern, allegedly. People are getting sick. People are backing out. People were getting quiet right before they were supposed to testify.
These problems didn't start for me until I started to speak out about people like this. You know, it's been a hard time to line up this interview.
And guess what? This comes right after victim number 3 reportedly vanished before she could take the stand. Prosecutors couldn't reach her. Her attorney was MIA, and the timing couldn't be more suspicious. But Big Homie didn't stop there. He claims this isn't new. He says that every time someone tries to expose what happened behind the scenes with Diddy, something happens to them.
I believe it's helped turn them into a sex deviant. And, you know, what type of man wants to see another man urinate in his wife's mouth? I feel like it's evil. I think his behavior is egregious.
According to Big Homie CC, he started feeling symptoms multiple times while working close with Diddy. Each time it happened after he started voicing concerns. Or, conveniently, right before he was supposed to speak up about something important. But 3 times? That's what has people raising eyebrows.
I've been poisoned 3 times. My toxicology report showed cyanide.
He also said that every time someone gets close to revealing the truth, the pattern repeats. Illness, fear, or flat-out vanishing. Remember the juror who backed out last week, citing personal well-being? Add that to the list. And now the question on everyone's mind. Will Big Homie Double C take the stand?
Because the last time I was scheduled to be in this interview, randomly, our car gets hit from the side by a blacked out vehicle, no license plate. That's happened 3 times this month so far.
After everything he's revealed so far, the prosecution might just call him as a star witness. And if that happens, buckle up. Because according to insiders, Big Homie isn't done talking, not even close. He's holding receipts, testimonies, and apparently, he's ready to go all in.
Somebody didn't want me to do this interview. Yeah, somebody didn't want me to do this interview. You know, I'm somebody where I've had FBI come to my house before and tell me they found a threat against my life.
If Big Homie testifies, it won't just be about Diddy's alleged crimes. It'll be about the web of celebrities that orbit him. Usher, Justin Bieber, Meek Mill, and how deep this rabbit hole really goes. See, Big Homie has already made waves by saying Diddy didn't act alone, that there's a network, a system, and more importantly, a code of silence.
His partner handed him an Advil, and after he took that Advil, he woke up 22 days later. That's what he said out his mouth. I feel like us as a species, I feel like human skepticism has become a virus.
And now that code is cracking. You think it's a coincidence that Justin Bieber only recently made a statement? After months of silence, his team finally broke the PR wall to say, Justin is not among the victims. But let's be real, no one thought he was a victim.
Through a rep, he officially, on the record, has said the following today. Quote, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him.
That's not the story people are whispering. What they're saying is that Justin was there, at parties, at Diddy's house, when he was underage.
All the videos you've seen, that was work and performative. Insiders insist that he instead was just friends with Diddy's son.
When he was vulnerable. When Diddy was allegedly grooming young stars and hosting freakoffs so disturbing, even veteran security officers testified in horror. Let's not forget that old Jimmy Kimmel segment where Justin said Diddy promised him a Lamborghini. That Lambo never came, but the suspicion did.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know.
Especially now that old footage is resurfacing where Diddy was talking about taking Justin to the Usher concert and then getting girls. So when Big Homie CC says he saw names, Usher, Justin, Meek Mill, pop up in moments he can't forget, it's not just about who attended a party. It's about who enabled it, who stayed silent, who participated. Usher's name is coming up more often now, and not just from Big Homie CC, from others. From people who used to work for Diddy, who claimed Usher was around when things got weird.
Team, what were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Real weird. And if Big Homie takes the stand, it might be the first time we hear these allegations in open court, under oath. This is a federal case involving sex trafficking, racketeering, kidnapping, and obstruction. And Big Homie CC, who once worked the front lines for Diddy, might be the key to unraveling it all.
Lil' Kim, Craig Mack,
these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man, Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
Prosecutors are already dealing with chaos. Witnesses are disappearing. Jurors are asking to be removed for personal well-being. It's not just a case anymore. It's a controversy so big it is taking down everyone linked to it. And then there's the freak-off footage. The court confirmed it exists. Jurors are watching it. But the public won't get to see it because of how extreme, how traumatic it is.
So, I'm a person who believes that the Epstein's list is very similar to Diddy's list. I'm a believer in that.
According to court documents, the footage shows Diddy, Cassie, male escorts, and another unnamed woman engaging in disturbing acts, often involving drugs, threats, and manipulation. Don't forget, Homeland Security confirmed they seized pink powder, baby oil, and medications under Diddy's alias, Frank Black. There's even a Louis Vuitton bag full of cash and controlled substances.
Is that he still had narcotics, he had medication in a Louis Vuitton bag, which is exactly what Cassie testified to. Mind you, Cassie ain't done a freak-off with Diddy since 2018.
And through all of this, Big Homie Double C is still standing, still talking. He's gone on record saying the same thing happened to Kim Porter, Diddy's ex, who mysteriously died of pneumonia. Big Homie says he almost died the same way, and he believes it wasn't a coincidence.
Have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise as soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
That too many people close to Diddy end up either missing, dead, or mysteriously ill. The same thing happened to jurors, to assistants, to hotel security. And the Bodyguard knows more.
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation?
Sources close to the case say the feds are in talks to subpoena Big Homie CC for testimony. He hasn't confirmed anything. But the buzz is loud, because once he starts talking, it could implicate others. People who were there and who knew. Like Meek Mill, who's reportedly already lawyered up.
The judge, of course, denies that, but Meek Mill says he has witnesses to that. You know, there are layers upon layers in this particular case, but for the first time, his attorneys feel that something will be different this time around.
Like Jay-Z, whose silence has been deafening, even though rumors have linked him to some of the same parties and events. And like 50 Cent, who's been the loudest in the room. He's already promised his upcoming Netflix docuseries, Did He Do It?, will reveal everything. And word is, Diddy's team is scrambling to file legal action to stop it. But at this point, the damage is done.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
And Big Homie Double C is ready to testify. And that's when things will really explode. Because what happens when a former insider confirms everything we've only speculated about? What happens when he starts naming names on the record? That's where we're headed. In this trial, it's about to change everything. And here's something that's got Diddy sweating bullets. A lot of the rappers he used to call his brothers are now either distancing themselves or straight up lawyering up. One name that keeps circling back? Rick Ross. While Ross hasn't been publicly named in any of the current filings, insiders claim he's been on Diddy's guest list for some of the more exclusive private events over the years, and not the kind you see on Instagram. We're talking the alleged underground parties held in penthouses and villas, with NDAs at the door and phones locked in safes.
So you think it's possible that Diddy, he got footage of rappers in the stash, just in case he got to use it for blackmail?
It's a possibility.
Ross has gone radio silent since this trial began. No posts, no statements, nothing. And in this world, silence speaks volumes. Then there's Drake. While there's no direct evidence placing him at any freak-offs, Orlando Brown, yes, the controversial actor turned internet truth bomb, once claimed Diddy had some level of involvement with Drake. Was it real? Hard to say. But when these same people were once dismissed as crazy, and suddenly everything they said is now being proven in court, it makes you pause. French Montana. Another one. He was seen with Diddy constantly. Vacations, parties, business collabs. And now? Quiet. His PR team hasn't even returned calls. Some insiders speculate he's been subpoenaed or is next in line. And let's not forget the real deal, the rumors about Jay-Z.
If they talking about some homosexuality and it's about Diddy.
50's been hinting for months that Jay wasn't just a bystander, that he may have known about some of these operations, maybe not the worst of it, but enough. Enough to stay away when the heat started rising, enough to lawyer up in advance. And that's exactly what fans are pointing out. Jay's legal team was already on high alert before any formal names were dropped, almost like they knew what was coming.
I said this years ago, that Kim and Kirk Burrows took some paperwork. They was taking some papers up to the FBI, stuff like when they was here in New York. They was taking paperwork up there and stuff like that. Don't know what it was, but later on found out that he was a CI.
Diddy, for his part, is unraveling. According to courtroom witnesses, he's visibly nervous whenever Big Homie CC's name is mentioned. Multiple sources claim Diddy has asked his lawyers repeatedly if they can block that testimony. But unless something drastic happens, he can't. He's been trying to play defense since the start, first with hush money, then with claims of racial targeting. Now, it's desperation, because what happens when the people you once paid off stop being scared? And Big Homie CC isn't scared anymore. But what's worse for Diddy is that Big Homie isn't the only bodyguard who is being contacted by the authorities. Gene Deal, the man who's been exposing Diddy for years now, is back in the headlines too. He was the only one who kept saying that Diddy wasn't the man he pretends to be.
People giving opinions now. At first, everybody was scared to give their opinion, and now they
front and center, telling all their stories, all they Diddy stories.
But at the time, everyone was busy making fun of Gene Deal and calling him an opportunist. Now, he might turn out to be the biggest witness with us in the Diddy case and make Diddy's life a living hell.
Puff and her was in a freak-off, and then D-Rock intervened or whatever like that, and they masked themselves up in all black.
In his interviews, Gene Deal has clearly talked about Diddy having affairs with other rappers and artists. He revealed how Diddy used to have relations with Usher, to the point that he even used to abuse him. And just so you know, Usher was still a teenager when he started living with Diddy for mentorship.
You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know, he did his first album. I did Usher's first album.
Gene Deal has revealed that Diddy took advantage of Usher's situation, and at one instance, his freak-offs got so bad that Usher allegedly ended up in a hospital. If Gene Deal says something like this under oath, Diddy's case would be destroyed right then and there. Also, Gene Deal's testimony would obviously add Usher's name too in the case, and he'd have to either accept or deny these claims.
Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him.
And well, even if Usher denies all this, no one would still believe it because of the things people have said about Diddy. It only seems plausible that he treated Usher the same way too. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If Usher was actually treated like crap by Diddy, then Gene Deal thinks that Usher shouldn't have taken Justin Bieber to him. Usher did it to Justin, and that ended up ruining Justin's early years.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing.
As soon as Justin allegedly started attending those freak-off parties, he got into substance. And fast forward to now, the guy is so broke that he owes millions of dollars to his own manager. Gene Deal has also claimed that whoever started getting a little famous, Diddy used to invite him to his parties, and then make them do things by either lacing their drinks or offering them a lot of money. And this is something that even Cat Williams has exposed in his podcast with Shannon Sharp. He straight up said that Diddy approached him and even offered him millions for his virgin hole, but he refused to do it. But not everyone has the option to refuse to Diddy. And just when you thought this trial couldn't possibly get any messier, enter Diddy's former personal assistant. This assistant revealed that it wasn't hotel staff cleaning up after Diddy's so-called private events. That was his job. And let's be clear, it wasn't about fluffing pillows or folding towels.
What was the mission? To make sure that Diddy was happy. Was it fun? I enjoyed it from time to time. What was your relationship with Chef Jordan? Professional.
He testified that after the now infamous freak-offs, it was his responsibility to dispose of condoms, drug paraphernalia, and other disturbing items.
She asked for $200. I called Roger Bond and asked, what the hell? She asked to take a shower. I said, that's $200.
We won't get into the full list because even prosecutors said it was too graphic for the jury to handle all at once. The assistant also confirmed something that has been rumored for years. Diddy allegedly kept a team of employees specifically trained to clean up and sanitize crime scenes. Yes, you heard that right. According to court records, these weren't housekeepers. They were fixers. And every time something went down, whether it was a violent burst, a drug-fueled orgy, or someone getting hurt, this team would swoop in, erase the evidence, and shut everyone up.
I believe she knew he was doing the freak-offs, but do I believe she knew he was allocating different monies to different places and which way it was going, which offshore accounts, which Swiss banks accounts, and all this shit was going in? Nah.
And guess what? The assistant said this wasn't just about random parties. It was routine, as in scheduled, like clockwork. The freak-offs would happen. The people would leave. Came the NDA threats, the cash bribes, and sometimes what he called mystery trips, where certain individuals were suddenly flown out of the country or relocated without explanation. But here's the part that chilled the courtroom.
The feds announced that they have a video of Diddy on camera assaulting a male sex worker. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if they making these type of announcements, bro, if they had anything on Meek Mill, bro, like, that's everywhere.
When asked directly why he didn't go to the police, the assistant said, "Because Mr. Combs told me people who talk go missing." Sound familiar? That's the same line Don Richard testified about. The same warning Big Homie CC said he heard. The same message prosecutors are now claiming Diddy repeated over and over to anyone who started asking too many questions.
Do you think Diddy would want you dead?
Probably be in his best interest if I was.
It wasn't just intimidation, it was a psychological weapon. And it worked. For years. The assistant even mentioned that he once tried to quit. Once. And within days, he said his family received threatening phone calls. His car was followed. He got a mysterious envelope stuffed with unmarked cash and a photo of his little sister. The message was that you're part of this now. And he stayed. Until now.
The man would pay male prostitutes to piss in his wife's mouth and he kissing her. That's wild as hell.
Diddy was doing that?
Yes, boy. Then the male prostitutes, she'll jerk him off and then rub the semen on Diddy nipples. What the is going on?
And now, under federal protection, he's talking. And what he's revealing is connecting dots in a way that prosecutors are jumping on fast. He backed up Cassie's timeline. He backed up Big Homie's poisoning claims. He even verified that certain rooms in Diddy's properties were kept off limits, secured with biometric locks, and only accessible by a select few. These were the same rooms witnesses say were used during the most disturbing freak-off events. But wait, it gets darker. The assistant also said he delivered girls. He testified that part of his job was arranging transportation for young women, some barely 18, who were specifically requested for these parties. And while he says he didn't know the full extent at the time, he now realizes what he was enabling.
Everybody, the waitresses was topless, like they had like dancers in cages, naked. I seen a few people had like lions on leashes and stuff like that. You feel me? And then, you know, once they came out to collect everybody's phones, that's when I said, I'm going to the car, y'all got it.
According to his statement, they weren't just coming to party. They were being groomed, manipulated, and some of them never came back. That line sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Some never came back. And here's what really made jaws drop. He said multiple high-profile celebrities, yes, more names, were involved or at least present during these events, and many of them knew. They saw, they joked, and then they went back to their tours, red carpets, and brand deals.
I shouldn't even answer the phone.
Look. Depending on what kind of clothes I have on, like, I don't even answer the phone for a nigga if I have on, like, if I'm in my boxers.
Not even thinking about it.
He wouldn't say the names out loud in open court just yet, but prosecutors say they're preparing a sealed list. And according to insiders, it includes names we've already heard: Usher, Meek Mill, Jay-Z, and more. This trial isn't just putting Diddy on the stand, it's dragging the entire industry into the spotlight. And if you think Gene and Homie are the only two employees, well, one of Diddy's former assistants has already given his testimony in the trial, and what he said is scary, real scary.
Or they had some kind of relationship like that. Remember I told you that? And you was like...
I remember that. You told me that years ago.
Yeah, and you said to me, yo, you gonna speak about it? I said, nah, I ain't gonna speak about it, bruh.
According to David James, Diddy wasn't just throwing wild parties. He had a complete system. At the top, Diddy himself. Beneath him, a revolving door of handlers, enforcers, recruiters, and, yep, lawyers always on standby. And lurking at the bottom was a hidden team whose only job was to keep the engine running and the secrets buried. Now here's where it gets sick. James says girls were flown in from out of state, and they had no ID or emergency contact. They had zero clue where they were being taken, and their phones were also confiscated at the gate.
After working in the industry, I converted my business to combat human trafficking. Last year, my team brought home 17 people, 4 children, 1 boy.
Some were given burner phones if they were lucky. Most were promised they were heading to some exclusive VIP party, a big break in modeling, or a shot at landing a music video gig. But when they walked through those mansion doors, the fantasy ended. James described the scene as part trap house, part trafficking ring, a place where, the second the doors locked, everything changed. And the scariest part was that the security wasn't there to keep people out. They were there to keep people in. James testified that he personally saw 3 different girls dragged back into the house by Diddy's team, kicking, screaming, crying. And when he tried to step in, he got shoved and was told to keep his mouth shut. And that wasn't even the worst of it. James said there were surveillance cameras everywhere, not just in common areas, every room, bedroom, bathroom, and hallway. Every single inch of the house was wired. But these weren't for safety. These were for leverage.
You're puffy, and you come in, I got $50 million bail, and you're used to things going your way by hook or crook. They're like, all right, well, at least they're gonna give me fucking bail. Yeah. And then they went back to bail hearing again, and they said no. He's not getting out.
3 times.
3 times.
Allegedly, Diddy kept all the footage locked away in an encrypted vault. And we're talking about everything. Who was there? What they did? Who did they did do it with? Faces, dates, times. James says this vault wasn't just a library of blackmail, it was currency. James has also revealed that one rapper, allegedly, went completely MIA for months after attending a 2019 freakoff. Another young actress was suddenly dropped by 2 record labels and ghosted the spotlight after saying she was going to expose something big. This is how Diddy controlled people and made them do things he wanted them to do. According to James, in the months before Cassie's lawsuit dropped, Diddy's inner circle was already holding damage control meetings, practicing statements, running mock scenarios, even staging emergency raid drills in case the feds came knocking. They knew it was coming, James said. We just didn't know who would break first. Well, now someone has. And if reports are to be trusted, it's obvious that both of Diddy's lawyers, Gene Deal and Homie, will soon be testifying.
I walked in the studio and seen 2 powerful men doing things that was uncomfortable to my eyes. And that's it.
And a lot of big names will surface, including Meek Mill. At this point, no one even has to prove that Diddy was getting it with Meek Mill because of the video that went viral a while ago. This man, who was at a party that Diddy was attending, saw Diddy go inside a room with Meek Mill, and then he recorded the voices coming from inside. Let's just say, if they play that audio in court, the jury wouldn't be questioning Diddy's sexuality anymore. The man also clearly said that he saw Diddy and Meek Mill, while Gene Deal has said it repeatedly said that Diddy has had his freak-offs with almost all the young rappers around him. That's how they become big. The rappers who have gotten special favors or push from Diddy have allegedly been part of those freak-off parties. And if Gene Deal manages to actually prove his claims, not just Diddy, but a lot of other artists will see their end.
There has been negative propaganda put out about me that's not true.
Also, one name that's not being taken enough, and that's always been linked to Diddy parties, is Jay-Z. He's not even being named in the trial, but a lot of people close to Diddy have said that Jay-Z was allegedly present in a lot of those freak-offs with Beyonce. So, do you think any of these bodyguards would actually testify and say these things in court, or are they only clout chasing once again? Let us know in the comments.